Good Mom and Monday. You're here with the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts. We are back.
We're back.
We're back.
We have a studio now. It's in my house.
Yes. Look at it. It's so pretty.
Yes.
We spent a good 3-4 weeks planning and getting this all set up so that we could have, doing this the right way.
Yeah.
Last time it was just recording in our car, back and forth, getting with the Starbucks.
Yeah. It was fun, but we didn't have this kind of equipment, so it should sound so much better for you guys.
It should. I really hope that it does, and I hope that you enjoy the sound of it better, the look of it if you're watching the YouTube channel. Also, for those of you that are going to be watching the YouTube channel, you get a little special surprise today. We have merch.
We have shirts.
We have shirts.
And a coffee cup that we can pull down.
Yes, I can do that. We each picked out one that we wanted to wear. Apologies if you can hear the babies, by the way.
Yeah.
You'll probably hear them a bit. We'll try to edit them out as much as we can. But they're here. And I mean, that's part of being a mistaken mama.
Yeah, that's part of the podcast.
It's
you
part
guys,
of it all.
if you listened last time, you know that you hear them a lot.
Yes. But so let's open our merch.
Yes.
I want to know.
I'm excited.
It came to my house and I didn't open it. I started to.
I'm surprised she didn't open it. I told her she could.
I actually left it in the mailbox until yesterday because I didn't trust myself.
I don't blame you.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Oh. The other one's still. I was like, there's only one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's
Kaylee
the
got
other
a shirt and I got a sweatshirt.
Yes. So, Mandee, that one's yours.
Yay. Oh.
And these are available on our website if you want some Mistaken Mama merch as well. There will be a link available for you to click on if you're watching this on the YouTube. You can go into the bio section. If you are on any of the social medias watching this, it'll be, link in bio up ahead or up above, whatever. And then if you're watching the podcast, it's in the description.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So, Mandee, do you want to show yours first?
Yes. Maybe.
Oh, it's so cute. And this is
Super
what the
cute.
Heather Gray.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels pretty good.
Nice. And this
I
is
like it. It's
the
good
brand,
thick.
I think that's Gildan, right? Is that what that says? Or is that the
Cotton Heritage.
Oh, Cotton Heritage. Oh, it's the upper one. Because the Gildan was there were two versions when we were going through. It was the Gildan and the Cotton. The Cotton's the more upscale one.
Yes. It feels really nice. It feels nice and thick.
It does feel nice and thick. I'm sitting here and I'm like, it was cold this morning. I'm like, I should have got a sweatshirt. So I have a cardigan. Whatever. And then I wore green.
Perfect.
To homage. And then, so here's mine. Mine is the t-shirt.
I really
version.
like that color.
Yes, this is the army green.
Yeah.
And this is with the brand Bella Canvas.
Yes. They turned out so good.
They did. Oh, you want to put them on?
Yes.
So we're going to attempt a
With the
transition
babies.
for you with the babies in our hands. So we'll go 1, 2, boom. Okay.
Okay.
Or do you want to go 1, 2, 3, boom?
1, 2, 3, boom.
Okay. All right. So ready? 1, 2, 3, boom. There we go. So this week, we're going to be introducing you guys a little bit to us and kind of how the podcast got itself started and where we are now, especially in comparison to where we were when we first did this podcast.
Yeah, a few things have changed.
Quite a few things.
We've added a couple kids.
Quite literally a couple.
Yeah, literally. One each.
One each. And so apologies if you can hear the kids. One of them is in the bassinet watching Bubble Guppies, and then the other one's asleep. So,
right here.
Yes, this is all the second time we've recorded this, so we're really hoping that all goes well this time.
Please.
Please, knock on wood. Just
Yeah. Knock,
literally
knock,
wood.
knock,
Knock,
on
knock,
wood.
knock, knock, knock. So for starters, welcome. And we're really glad to have you here. No matter where you're coming from, where you are in the world, this podcast is kind of just a place for us to talk about what it's like to be a mom,
A woman.
a wife,
A wife, yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
And, all the different things that we do and what we've done and, talking about different things. So for those of you that don't know us, My name is Kaylee,
And I'm Mandee.
as you heard in the introduction.
Yes.
I guess we can just give like a little brief synopsis about ourselves.
Yeah.
So, why don't you go first? You're older.
Okay. I am turning.
We did the math earlier.
We did
Mandy.
the math earlier, and now I almost forgot. I'm turning 27 this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm turning 27 in May 18th to be exact. I am married to the man of my dreams.
Your high school sweetheart.
My high school sweetheart. We've been together since I was a freshman and he was a junior.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We have been married since 2018, so we were together for 7 years before we got married.
Mm-hmm. Long time.
A long time. Granted, 4 of those years I was still in high school, so I give him that.
Fair.
But those 3 years, I'm just kidding. I honestly, like, looking back, glad we waited. We needed to work a few things out before we got married.
Fair.
But anyway, we're married now, and we have 2 kids. We have a boy. He is a little over 2. His name's Maverick. And then we have Quincy, who I'm holding, and she is almost 3 months. But by the time you're listening to this, she'll be almost 4 months.
Yes.
We also did this math.
Yes, we also did this math earlier. The first time we recorded this.
Yeah.
It's already going better.
This one's going better. I am currently a stay-at-home mom, and now I'm doing this podcast again with my best friend / cousin. And I am also possibly going to be working with my midwife when she gets back on her missions trip.
Whoop, whoop.
And yeah, I'm just trying to figure myself out again. You know, it's been a lot of years of just kids.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, you've done it a little bit longer.
Yes, a little bit.
So, yeah, but that's mostly what I have going on right now. And that's just a little snippet about me. So what about you?
So, like I said earlier, I'm Kaylee. I'm 24. I'll be 25 this year, which we also did the math for. Yes. It's my quarter quill. I'm also married to my high school sweetheart. We met when I was a sophomore and he was a senior. So, same age gap, but
Shifted
slightly. Mm-hmm. We got married straight out of, like, when I got out of high school, though.
Right, yeah.
So we were together for 3 years before we got married.
Yeah.
And we have 3 kids. We have our oldest, who is 5. She'll be 6 in November. And my son, which is just a little bit older than her son. We were both pregnant at the same time, but I was, 20-ish weeks ahead of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was about halfway through the pregnancy is when she got pregnant. He's 2.5. He'll be 3 in July. And then my youngest is, she'll be 8 months in just a couple of days, or tomorrow. And so by the time you hear this, she'll be almost 9 months.
It's wild.
It's very wild. It really is. And so like she said, we're doing this podcast together, but I also am, I'm an author and a content creator. A lot of you guys coming on here probably know me from that. Either from my Kate series or my uterus skit. That's probably where a lot of you guys are coming here from. So, if you're here, hi, thank you for coming and supporting all my shenanigans.
Yes. I knew that you were going to say uterus story, but in my head, I was like, she's just going to say from my uterus. Period.
Period. End of story. Here it is. Just popping you all up too.
Here you are. Yeah, we really enjoyed doing this podcast. We did it for a little over a year and a half before. Mm-hmm. We didn't have proper equipment, and we did it just usually in a car.
9 times out
the
of 10,
majority of them.
We tried in like your living room for a while.
Yeah,
it just wasn't. It wasn't really working
because we always had the kids with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boys got old enough that we could leave them. So that's why we started to do it in the car.
By leave them, we mean with their dads.
With their dads, yes. Sorry. They had to fend for themselves. So honestly, it was nice in the sense of we didn't have any kids with us.
It was.
And the sound quality was a little better because there was no kids making noises.
Exactly. And we were just recording like on our phones.
Yeah. Now, I hope this sounds better to you guys.
I mean, hope so.
probably the majority of you didn't listen prior. But we have professional mics now. If you see us on YouTube, then hello, here they are. But if you're just listening, hopefully it sounds really good.
Yeah, prior we were just using when you guys hear the advertisement, it's for Anchor, and that's what we use to host our podcast. But they also have, I mean, you'll hear it in the ad, which is pre-recorded, by the way. They have recording and editing software built in. So we were using that originally. So the software that we were using before, it worked really well for what we needed it for. But now that we, wanted to have this better equipment, and we went out of our way to, to purchase it and to get it all set up and stuff, we are now using Adobe Audition and for the editing for the video that y'all are seeing. Hello.
Yeah.
If you're seeing it, then we're using the Premiere and all of that. So we're trying to really get the quality up this time, because we really want to take it more seriously, I think.
Yeah, and we set up, as you can see if you're watching, a little studio space in my house. This used to be my cat room. Now it's my pod room. And by cat, I only have one, so don't go out there thinking I'm some crazy cat lady. I'm not. I have 2 dogs and a cat. But this is just where her stuff is and where she hangs out. But yeah, so we set it up. We think it looks really good.
I think so.
So we hope you guys think it looks really good.
Yeah. And if you guys aren't watching the YouTube, we have a cool setup. You can probably see it on our Instagram. We've got some pictures over there. And not saying you have to watch the YouTube or anything, but there will be more content there. So all the funnies and stuff that just don't really work for keeping in a podcast, we're going to be leaving over there. Yeah, we've got a whole setup here. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. It was kind of daunting at first.
It was.
But then now seeing it all put together and actually doing it's really exciting.
It is. It was definitely really scary. I mean, we've been working on it for the past month.
I'd say.
A month.
Hard for the last month, yeah.
Yeah, because we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
Because we stopped the original podcast before you got pregnant with Quincy.
Yes.
And now she's here.
She's here and she's huge.
The original podcast did not know about her. And I think we mentioned earlier, I don't think the original podcast knew about Ellie either.
I don't think so. If they did, it was at our very, very last episode.
Yeah.
But I really don't think we posted it.
I don't think we did either. But yeah, so much changed. I mean, so the original podcast took place during COVID, when we were trying to just really get back to a form of normalcy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the original podcast, though, we weren't even living in the same state at first.
Not at the beginning.
No.
I totally forgot about that because we had to FaceTime each other.
Yeah.
And then we also just had the little iPhone, what is it called? What am I? Earpods?
Oh, the headphones that come with them?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The little microphone that comes on the little earpods. Yeah, that's all we were using.
little white.
And it kind of worked, but we were also recording at 10 o'clock at night sometimes because we would wait till the kids all went to bed.
There's a baby here. What?
There is.
There we go.
There's 2 babies here. You can see her hand, but if I... Bloop,
there we go.
Just look, I'm chilling.
Mm-hmm. Anywho's it's. So, what was the thing? Oh, yeah. So when, we were both about to have our sons, it was my first boy. My first one was a girl.
Right.
And this was your first baby, too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that's kind of what started the big bonding process between us, because you would always text me and be like, is this normal?
Right,
Did you go through
right.
this?
Yeah.
And then I think it kind of helped because I also just so happened to have also been pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
And so I could kind of compare both of my pregnancies that I had had up to that point, and be able to give you advice and being able to bond with you over it.
Yeah.
And it was nice because we used to be really, really close, and we've gone through periods where we were just in different life stages.
Yeah. Or I was in the slightly older stuff when you were still transitioning into the older stuff.
Yeah.
And so
Barbie's was the big one.
Yeah. She lasted longer with the Barbies than I did, just because I'm a little bit older and I wanted to hang out with the older kids or the adults or whatever. And so then there was a period of time where it was we weren't connecting. Mm-hmm. And then I think through motherhood, becoming a wife, I feel like then we got closer again. Because we're like, okay, now we're in the same stage again.
Yep. And then we decided, me and my husband, decided to move down here.
Yay.
I remember how excited you were when I told you.
I know. Well, at first you told me and I was like, okay. You know when people are like, oh, I'll move to you. I'm going to move closer to you. And you're like, I really want you to, but I know you're not going to, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt that way. And then when you were like, so we found an apartment and we're breaking our lease. I was like, oh, it's really happening. She's moving here.
Mm-hmm. We'd wanted to for so long.
Yeah.
Just, oh my God, life was just so complicated, which we may or may not get into that here.
Yeah.
Some of y'all already kind of got a little bit of that, and if you're following me on TikTok, if not, go watch the Kate series. It's kind of there's bits of my life put into that.
Yeah.
Not like this the whole thing, but there's bits and pieces of that is my life, and that causes crazies.
Yeah.
But so we're cousins.
Yes.
But we're cousins by marriage.
Yes, exactly.
She has known me my whole life because she is older than me.
Yep. By 2 years.
Yep. My mom was at your birth, and then her mom was at mine.
Yeah.
Because our moms were best friends. That's kind of
Yes.
where all of this originated from, and then her mom married my uncle.
Yes. They were both in the military together, her mom and my mom.
Yes.
They were in the Air Force, and they were both stationed in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And that's where both of us were born.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I forgot you were born in Hawaii, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to have, like, the first couple years of your life in Hawaii, whereas, like, I got a whole 9 days.
Oh, yeah, because you left pretty quickly after.
I mean, I don't remember that, but yeah. That's what I was told.
Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't really remember anything, though, because I think I was 2.5, maybe 3 when we moved back. Mm-hmm. So I have, like, a memory, but I don't know if it's a dream.
Oh, okay.
But it's we got to the beach and my mom set me down on a towel because the ground was hot. And she told me, stay right here. I'm going to grab our stuff and then we'll go down to the water. And it was like parking lot, sand, water.
Okay.
If you're listening, literally one after another. And I remember just running to the water and my feet being on fire. And my mom was like yelling at me and I just had to keep going because I knew once I got to the water, my feet would be fine. And my mom told me, I told her that. I was like, that's the only memory that I maybe have. And she's like, well, you did used to do that a lot. So I think it could be a memory.
Core memory right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is so funny.
Yeah. But that's the only memory that I can think of that I have.
Yeah, I got none. I was 9 days old.
Right.
I barely opened my eyes at all during that time.
Yeah. You were asleep.
Whole time. But yeah, so anyways, a little bit more about us is, let's see where we've lived.
Oh, okay.
I've lived in a couple different states.
I've lived in a few. Started out in Hawaii, obviously.
Same.
And then I moved to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lived in a couple different cities in Washington.
Same.
And then moved to Oregon when I was seven.
Not same.
6. I think I was 6.
Okay.
Actually. Mm-hmm. Because it was before my parents got married. And I believe they got married when I was 7 because you were 5.
I was 5.
And then I've lived in a couple towns here as well. And then that's the only places that I've lived. So I guess 3.
So I've lived, obviously, Hawaii.
Right.
And then I think my mom moved to Oregon after Hawaii, though.
Oh, okay.
And then she moved up to Washington. I think it was like she moved down here. I don't know why, but she did. And then I'm pretty sure. And then she moved up to be near my grandma or something.
Right. I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I lived in a few cities up in Washington. But then after I graduated, I moved to Montana with my husband.
Yeah.
And we spent a little bit of time there and then moved back to Washington, specifically Spokane. And then we didn't like Spokane. So we moved back to where I spent most of my childhood, which is like the Tacoma area of Washington, which was where I met my husband, was kind of like that general vicinity. That's like a little south of Seattle for those of you that are not familiar with Washington.
Right.
And then in Spokane is like on the completely other side. I feel like if you know Washington, you either know Spokane or you know Seattle or you know both, and that's just the only thing you know.
Yeah.
There's a whole bit in the middle that nobody cares about.
Right. Yeah.
Central Washington University is like, hey. And that's all North Washington. Nobody cares about South Washington.
Yeah, no. I feel like it's either Eastern Washington you hear about or North.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Pretty much. Yep.
Or Vancouver.
That's like right above Portland.
That's right. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. I think that's the other one that gets talked about some.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had some like not so fun things happen while we were there. A lot of it just kind of like, I mean, my grandma had died and that's where she lived. And I kind of had like, we moved back there because I wanted to be closer with my family after that event. But then it turned out to just kind of be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. And so after we moved out of Montana, we considered coming down to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't in the cards at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't the right time.
Yeah, because we were still trying to deal with my mother-in-law and that whole fiasco. And it was easier to just move to Spokane to be in like a middle ground.
Yeah.
But then we hated Spokane, so.
Right.
So now we're down here finally. Long time coming.
Yeah.
I wish we had just moved straight here.
I know.
If we could do it again, I would.
Yeah.
It would be like we would get married, or we would like graduate, both of us, and we
Yeah.
would have come down here and we'd get married.
That would have been nice.
Be here forever.
Yeah. That would have been great.
That's what I would do if I could redo it.
I'm happy you're here now, though.
Me too.
But I agree. I think everything happened for a reason, and it happened, how it should have happened. But
That was cute. I'm gonna need to blur this whole situation.
Oh yeah, the candle was blocking my view. I couldn't see you.
Yep. It's okay. This is going really good.
I know. I'm trying to think what's next on the list.
I can't read it.
I can't read it from here.
What we did in the year.
Oh, well, we
took a break. Okay. So we again started the podcast beginning of 2020, I think. Did all throughout 2020. And then ended it like mid 2021, I think.
Is that right?
End of 2021.
We started the podcast beginning of 2021.
Oh, and then ended it
all of 2021, and then ended it.
No, because we've been gone for a year.
But it's 2023. We were gone all of 2022.
So we would have had to end it 2021.
But we started in 2021.
No, we didn't. I think it was 2020.
But we started after Maverick was born. And Maverick was born December 2nd of 2020.
Maybe it was we did all of 2021 and then ended it.
Because we got sick, which is why we stopped the podcast, if you guys want to know.
Yeah.
We got sick.
Was it beginning of 2022 then?
Of 2021.
Was it 2020, like beginning of 2022 then, that we just kind of gave up on it?
I think so.
Okay. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because I kind of kept my pregnancy hidden from a lot of people for a long time.
Well, and remember, I was trying to conceive at the same time. And so you were like, well, maybe we should just wait and announce at the same time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then I took a little bit longer, even though this was my quickest pregnancy that I've gotten pregnant with.
But we were hoping we would have been like at the same time.
Yeah, because we both wanted another one at the same time. So we were like, well, might as well go through it at the same time.
Yeah.
But
we still did. Just
I think you were
delayed.
like, well, it was right before. So yeah, I think we stopped in January because I got pregnant in February.
Then yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, so all of 2021 stopped early 2022. Yeah, I guess that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So we've been gone pretty much exactly a year then.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
So during that time, we both had babies.
We had babies.
Yes. I think life stage wise, I mean, we, on my side of the family, or I guess my, me versus not you.
Right.
We got a new niece on our side of the family. We got a new nephew. I don't see either of them because they just live in a different state.
Right.
I wrote another book.
Yeah.
For those of you, I don't know if I mentioned it at all in the previous podcast or the previous version of it, but I had a book
I think
prior.
you did.
Yeah. But it is no longer published. I did pull it.
Oh.
The original one, Missing in Action. If
It is
anybody's
up
watching
on
it,
the
this
shelf.
purple one here,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That one there. That's the only hardcover edition. Other than the one, technically I own one too, but sorry.
Okay.
I meant the design.
Right.
The only hardcover version. I am
Okay.
going to rewrite it.
Mm-hmm. Rewrite it or just like edit it?
I kind of want to go through the book and rewrite the parts differently.
Oh, okay.
So rather than going through and editing it, because I'm going to just be deleting paragraphs and rewriting the paragraphs, it'd be easier to go through with the book side by side with my Word document and going through and editing and pretty much rewriting it completely, but following along the storyline and filling in pieces that I wish I would have done originally.
So it'll probably be a little bit longer.
I plan on making it quite a bit longer.
I was going to say, it was pretty short. It was a really good read. Like, if you guys want to check it out
When
it comes back.
I tried explaining it to Carrie Ann, and I haven't read it since I wrote it. And I think I explained it so wrong. Like, I think I explained the general premise correctly. But I am so sporadic when I explain things that I was like listening to myself talk. And like, I have an inner voice that sits there and like, if I'm rambling, tells me, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And so when I'm
same thing.
So I'm sitting here explaining it to Carrie Ann. If you're listening, I'm sorry. I was like, you're explaining this horribly. This is not what your book is. Like,
it's okay. I tried to explain to her the series that I'm reading, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
Yep.
And she was like asking me how it was going, and I was kind of explaining it. And then she was asking, what books I read last year. And I was explaining the House of Night series, which you've read that one, right?
Yes.
And I was like, it's like vampires and like a school. And I was like, that sounds awful.
That sounds like Twilight.
Yeah.
If you were to be like, yeah, it's like vampires at a school. Be
Right.
Like, okay, so you're reading Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a school for vampires.
Yeah, it was a terrible explanation.
It's like, is this Vampire Academy? What are we talking about here?
Right. By the way, Carrie Ann has been my hairstylist for years.
She's the only person who's touched my hair since I shaved my head.
Yeah. And now she does Kaylee's hair.
Yep.
So that's who Carrie Ann is.
Yep. She's our amazing hairstylist. And I know that she's listening.
Wonderful.
She was telling me that she wanted to listen. So hi, Carrie Ann.
Hi.
But yeah, so if you guys look on like our Instagram and stuff, we'll have like pictures of our new hair, which we need to take those pictures today.
Yes, we do.
Yes. We should have done it before my hair went flat, but it's fine.
I have a straightener. I can.
Maybe.
Okay.
Might have to. But yeah, so if you guys look on our Instagram, you can see our pictures of our hair and stuff. She's always the one that does it. I shaved my head back in 2019.
Yes.
Yes. It was October 2019. I hated my hair. It was like so dead and just awful. I decided to shave my head. And I've been letting it grow out ever since. And, if you're watching the YouTube, that's about how long it is.
And it's gotten pretty long.
Yeah.
Like from, let's see, 2019. So that was 4 years ago.
This year will be 4 years.
This will
so
be
it's
4
been
years.
just
so it's been
over
like
3.
Yeah. So that's pretty good growth for.
Yeah, and it's like
we're about
level.
down to boob. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not watching, we're down to boob.
Although I don't know, I guess if they can't, because I'm going to have all this blurred, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see.
True.
If possible, I will move the blur over a little bit so you can at least, right there, boom. Child stay asleep. Yeah, but so she's the only one who's touched my hair since then.
Yeah, and she works the magic.
She does. She really does.
She's the only hairstylist that I trust to be like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I go in with an idea of what I want, but for the most part, either we'll go back and forth, or there's been times where I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah, so I was explaining the book to her. Oh God, I can't explain jack shit apparently.
Yeah, I can't either.
But yeah, so I'm gonna be republishing that.
Yeah,
and then I guess also in this year, since we've been gone, I now have another book that by the time you guys are listening to this, will be just about a month away from being actually released. It's in pre-order right now.
So it comes out in April.
April 25th. Yep. by the time you guys are hearing this, it'll be 100% ready to go. Right now it's in the final stages of editing.
That's crazy.
I know. And by right now, I mean a month ago when we're recording this,
Right,
not
right,
when
right.
you're hearing this.
I'm excited to read it.
Me too. I get to read the final read through here in like 2 weeks, just to make sure there's not like any other random little things I need to change.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
That'll be exciting.
Oh yeah. I'll have to send it to you on Kindle so you can read it before before the release.
Please do, because that's where I do most of my reading. Well, I don't have a
Yes.
Kindle. Okay, that's a lie. I do have a Kindle. It's a really old one, and you can't like turn down the backlight very well.
Okay.
And so even at the lowest brightness, it's still shockingly
Really
bright.
Mm.
And I like to read at night, like
Me
when
too.
the kids are in bed and stuff. And so I just read on my phone, and I turn it on where it's like black with white letters.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it works.
Yeah.
It's small. I have to kind of zoom a teeny bit just so it's a little bigger, but I love a hard copy book. Like I do. I really can get down on
I'll
that.
make sure that you get a copy.
But right now with kids, it's just easier to be able to have it on the go and be able to read like a paragraph here or there, you know.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah. Do you want a hardcover or do you want a paperback?
hardcover.
Hardcover? I'll get you a hardcover.
Yeah.
I'm going to have like one of each.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I
Hardcover.
sign your copy.
Thanks.
Not that you need it. But I mean,
Hey, what if we have like a major falling out when you get super famous?
hey, I mean, then you at least
And then
have
I'm like,
that.
Still have your book, girl.
Sell it and become a millionaire and be like, bitch.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Speaking of books, I think that maybe we can add like a little tiny segment in here each week of what are we reading?
That's a good idea.
Because you said that we were reading like Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm like,
Yes.
let's talk about what we read each
Yeah.
week. Just like a little blurb. So like we have our mom fail of the week,
Yeah.
which we didn't mention
we didn't mention at all.
this week. You want me to tell you what my mom fail of this week was?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you. So we all got sick this week.
Right.
Literally the day after I got my hair done, we all woke up sick.
Right.
It was bullshit. And my kids started cutting teeth. And so I have had to like snot sucker her nose, and I've had to give her Advil, Tylenol, Orajel, and everything under the sun. And so when I went to go sucker her nose the other day, she like whipped her head back and then immediately forward and right in the eye.
Oh no.
With the snot sucker with the little rubber one, the little ball.
The bulb one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God. She just started screaming, and then when she finally stopped screaming, she gave me this look of, "Mom, how dare you?"
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, now I'm trying to think of my mom fail. God. Honestly, my mom fail lately, don't know what it is. So we'll talk about this later, but my periods come back like right after I have kids, apparently.
I'm so sorry about that. That sucks.
And it doesn't matter that I breastfeed. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Just
that
comes
sucks.
right back. Anyway, not salty.
A little salty.
And so I'm probably like 4 days away from my period, 3 days away, in that range. And for some reason, my hormones this time around, I could just give a fuck less. And I also am very irritable.
Oh no.
So for the last like 2-3 days, I'm a snappy mom. Just knock it off.
I get that.
And
way.
I'm usually very patient. And even Michael has been like, Mandee, from the other room, because he can hear me like getting worked up, and he's like, honey, you're starting to yell at him. he's not doing anything wrong. Grateful to have a husband like that.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I'm just super snappy, and I hate it, because then at the end of the night I'm like, ugh,
I think I was a shit mom today.
I was a shit mom today.
I get that way too.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
Each week we want to try to give you guys a mom fail of the week. And we
Yeah.
want to do this because we want you guys to know that like you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're all of this. This is exactly what this is about.
We
I mean,
make
we're
mistakes.
called the mistaken mama, We are, predisposed to make mistakes. We're humans.
Yeah.
And, a lot of that isn't talked about. Or
Right.
if it is, it's like very stigmatized.
Yeah. I like to be open with you guys. If you guys, want to know things, ask us too, because we're pretty open about, especially our parenting, we're pretty open about it. I also want to talk about, though, our mom wins, because we do need to celebrate that we do good things every once in a while. It could be a mom win, or like a wife win, or just a general, like, we felt good about it win, because we need to give ourselves a little bit of positivity in here.
Do you have a win this week?
Do I have a win this week? That's a good question.
None of this is pre-planned, by the way.
Nope. Do you have a win this week? Because I have to think.
Well, so if any of you guys know me, or have been following my TikTok for a while, you know that my son is pretty nonverbal. Ever since he started watching Dora, you know how Dora will be like, say blah blah blah, whatever. He copies her. Aww. He can't say Jack, but he tries.
Right. Yeah.
And so just hearing him try, it feels really good. And he's getting like evaluated for like autism and stuff at the end of the month again. But it was just nice to kind of see that he's finally putting in a little bit of effort. And like, because if she'll, if you've watched Dora, she'll be like, say grande, I don't know.
Right.
And he'll be like, da, da. And she'll be like, louder, and he'll go, he'll say it louder.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he's getting the comprehension
That's
down,
awesome.
and he's starting to talk more, which is big for us.
Yeah, I agree. I guess my mom win, if we're gonna talk about that kind of stuff, Maverick, I think, has his colors down.
Yeah, Damon doesn't.
He does really good with it. There for a while, I was like, oh, he has his colors down, but then he would really fumble them up, and I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't. But he knows black, gray, pink, red, blue, yellow, orange, green, white, and brown.
Damon calls everything purple or blue.
That's what Maverick started with. And the book that I got him to learn his colors was the brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. And so I would read it to him, but every page I'd be like, and this is a blank bird. And then he would like, every time it was blue. And I'm like, no.
Try again.
Yeah. And then eventually he just started doing it one day, and I was like, mom win for me. That was a while ago, but I'm going to use it for this week because that's the only thing I can think of.
Works. So I think that we've talked a little bit about that. So every week, starting with like a mom fail. So we should do like a, getting into this episode.
Yeah.
We talk about our mom fail, our mom win. What are we reading this week?
Yeah.
And getting into that. Speaking of, I'm reading The Takeover by somebody. Whom? What is it? And I'm sure everybody knows who The Court of Thorns and Roses are.
Yes, I'm on the final book.
Ooh, I've started the first one.
You did?
I did. But since I've been finishing up with my own book,
right.
that takes precedence.
Right, yeah.
But I really want to. I have the full series in paperback.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, so I want to read them. I hear really good things.
I will say, here's a little synopsis without any spoilers.
Yes, please.
First book, tad slow, but enjoyed it.
I've heard that.
Second, third book, amazing. Third book, really good.
That's what I keep
Fourth
hearing.
book, could have done without it, but it was still good. Fifth book, I'm still reading, but all of a sudden it's not in first person anymore. And it's really throwing me off. Because I want to immerse myself as if I am that person. So that's why I love first person books.
Yeah.
But this all of a sudden, and I'm waiting for it to like switch back because it's hard for me to read because I was such in the mindset of reading first person.
That's why I have struggled with reading the Harry Potter books, is because they're not first person.
Yep.
Because I was like, everybody loves these books. Why can't I get into it? And I read the first book and I just, and then I realized after reading another book, I was like, oh, it's because it's not first person.
Yeah.
But I can understand why. I said understand way too many times just then. I get it why a lot of books choose not to, because like my book has several perspectives.
Right.
And I can understand why that's complicated if there's so much that has to get done if you don't want to have it read through different perspectives.
Right. And see, the fourth book, it was written like, so the first chapter would be
so-and-so,
and the second chapter would be so-and-so, and the so on and so forth. I like that better. It still kind of throws me. But this whole not being in first person at all, I'm like, I was really enjoying these. And this is a long one. So the first book's kind of short. The second and third are really long. The fourth is super short. And then the last one's
It
long
drives me
again.
nuts looking at all of them next to each other, and you're just like that teeny tiny little book there.
Honestly, let me know what you think when you read the fourth book, because I got to the end and I was like, was that necessary? It was some character building, but it seemed late in the game for some character building.
Okay. The book that I'm reading is The Takeover by T.L. Swan.
Oh, okay.
It's the second book in the Miles High Club series.
Oh, is it a good one? It's a good series so far.
I liked the first book better.
Okay.
I'm about halfway through this one. This one's more like the romance isn't working, but they're trying to make it work anyways type book, whereas the other one was like there was some mystery involved.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love a good smut.
Right.
These are smutty.
Yeah.
Speaking of A Court of Thorns and Roses, I saw a post that was like, A Court of Thorns and Roses is way too smutty. It's like a level 5 smut. And I'm like, excuse me. You don't read smut at all, man, do ya?
Book 2, a little bit. Third, a little bit more. But it's definitely not, it's not like the main thing. Like there's some moments where you're like, oh, okay, that got spicy. But then it ends.
Yeah. I've read some spice.
Yeah.
I like me some spice books.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun to read.
They are. You're okay, sister.
Definitely won't be giving a big synopsis on if we're reading a spicy book. Be like, this is the book that I'm reading. If you want to know what it is, go figure it out.
Go read the back cover.
Or just look at the front cover, because a lot of those are very
true.
like, excuse me, man.
And also on the Mom Wins and Mom Fails, we plan on our Instagram, on our stories, having a little blurb so you guys can like send in your mom fails and your mom wins so that we can maybe talk about those.
But yeah, so that's kind of how the podcast is going to be going.
Yeah.
We have a lot of big plans for this one. We're probably going to have a little bit where we're going to be like redoing some of the episodes that we had done previously.
Yeah.
Kind of reimagining them a little bit. You might hear some clips of the original podcast. If we like had something that would like we want to get that moment.
Right, yeah.
Or like, because a lot of the time when we were doing those original ones, sorry, I'm so sorry. You can see it.
I know.
In the original podcast, you know, sometimes we were like living those moments
at
the time. And so I think if we go over those things,
we'll get the raw moment. Yeah.
Ding. Yeah, we might pull that raw moment out to see if we can get a little bit of that out. Granted, when we do that, the quality is obviously not going to be the same.
Right. But we can comment on it and stuff and like, you know, see how things have changed. If you're listening, baby is playing with Kaylee's microphone.
Yeah.
And
I'm holding it steady, but
it kind of shakes our table when she grabs it too hard.
Sorry. If you're watching the video, you obviously are seeing it.
Yeah.
There we go. Nope.
But yeah, I think this is going to be really fun. And the first 2 episodes, so you'll hear this one on March 13th. And then you won't hear us the following week.
Yes.
And then you'll hear us again.
Yep.
And then another week off.
Yep. We're going to do every other week for a little while.
Yeah. And then
I think until we just get a couple more episodes under our belt so that we have a little bit of wiggle room for like if we need to go on vacation.
Right. We also really need to learn the editing software. So we figured giving us some extra time to learn editing will make sure that we put out better quality videos versus just shoving a bunch of videos out that are not edited properly.
Yeah. And so we'll probably move to weekly at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be recording weekly. You're just not going to be getting them weekly.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see. We'll play it by ear to determine if we think that we want to do it.
Yeah.
Every week, like when we want it. Because we did it every week last time.
Yeah.
But we didn't pre-record. We were like a week ahead sometimes.
Sometimes.
Or
sometimes we were rushing last second to edit. Yeah. And we want this time to be a little bit more time to edit thoroughly and not be rushing last second to have our videos out.
Exactly.
But
so that's the plan for this time.
yeah, if you guys have any topic ideas, send them in on our Instagram, or I mean, once we have a YouTube up, you could probably comment on it if
Well, if you're
comments
watching this now,
available.
you're able to see the YouTube video.
That's true.
Because they'll be
Duh.
airing at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
And so for those of you that are tuning in, we're going to be posting right now every other Monday, starting on the 13th of March. But eventually, every Monday at, 7 a.m. that we wanted to do?
Yeah.
7 a.m. on Mondays. You'll be here for your Good Mom and Monday.
Or Good Mom and Morning.
Good Mom and Morning.
Yeah.
Yes. Whenever, I think my shirt says Good Mom and Morning and yours says Good Mom and Monday.
Oh, no, this one says Monday.
Yep. That's our cup.
Yeah.
You already showed it to you guys though. But yeah, and we'll keep you guys posted. Well, you'll see more of us in just like twice a month though.
Yeah.
We'll be on our Instagram.
We'll be posting.
We'll be on our TikTok. You'll see like little bits and pieces, funny moments on like our TikTok. We'll have the full length episodes on our YouTube, and we'll have longer ones on the YouTube. So like the podcast will get it on both sides.
Right.
You're gonna get it on wherever you're listening on your podcast right now. But you'll also be able to see it on YouTube. But the YouTube will have a little bit
Funny
more
moments and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas like we're not going to be leaving it that kind of stuff in the podcast just because it's not going to be pleasant on your ears.
Right. You're not going to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh.
The video didn't even see that. So
Of course not.
but yeah. So that's the plan. We're really excited to be getting this back up and going again.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get this back up and going
So
again.
excited.
If there's any topics you want us to cover or any questions you want to ask us or whatever, feel free to reach out to us in our DMs or leave us a comment either on TikTok or YouTube or wherever.
Yeah.
If you want to check out the merch, that is in any of the links, either in the link in the description if you're listening on the podcast, link in the bio if you're on YouTube, or link in the description, whatever on YouTube, link in the bio if you're on one of the social medias.
Right.
Yep.
So I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.